I don't want to talk about decision, this stuff. I congrats, Bivol team. Muslim people say always Alhamdulillah.
How's it going, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. Before we get started, as always, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, we had a really good fight last weekend between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. And first things first, I did go back and watch the fight. In my opinion, pretty much stays the exact same. I thought Artur Beterbiev won that fight, probably a 7-5 or an 8-4. And, again, my opinion stays the exact same. For Artur Beterbiev to walk away from that fight and not even get a draw, I think is outrageous, and I think it's an absolute disgrace. So obviously we're going to break that down in today's video and really what should Artur Beterbiev do moving forward. Now, in my opinion, number one, I think Artur Beterbiev should retire. I just think that this is a fighter that's massively disrespected, and I think people just look at him as a brawler, someone that's got power. And I know that does happen sometimes, like, when you've got a fighter with a lot of power. You kind of see the same thing with Gervonta Davis and Naoya Inoue. People completely disregard their other skills just because the power is so good. I think people do that with Artur Beterbiev. I thought his performance on Saturday was outstanding. His jab to the body, he level changes with that jab, took Bivol away from his game plan. And I thought Beterbiev won the fight. As you saw in round one, and there's a few different things I really want to get into. I just think that there's just such a bias. Round one, I'll give you a perfect example. Pretty much every single judge and every single person that I've seen has given Bivol round one. I watched round one again. It was a feel-out round. There was absolutely nothing in that round. So you're just gonna give Bivol that round because you think, oh well, he's the better boxer, he's the better technical boxer. You're just gonna give him that round. So that's the first thing. But in round one, you saw Artur Beterbiev. He took center of the ring. Bivol took center of the ring as well. And I think Bivol's game plan was to be more aggressive this fight. And as you saw, that didn't happen. Artur Beterbiev made sure that didn't happen, and Bivol was on the back foot for 12 rounds. Now I see what a lot of people have been saying to me. You can win a fight on the back foot. Again, with boxing, it's, one day it's one thing, the next day it's something else. When Jermaine Ortiz fought Teofimo Lopez, Jermaine Ortiz was on the back foot for pretty much 12 rounds of that fight. He was pot-shotting Teofimo Lopez. He was on the back foot. He was landing the better punches. He wasn't very aggressive, but he was catching Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez was stalking him and walking him down. But Teofimo Lopez pretty much landed nothing that fight. It wasn't a good fight, and Teofimo Lopez was coming forward but not really landing anything. The judges unanimously gave the fight to Teofimo Lopez because he was the aggressor. After the fight, no one gave Jermaine Ortiz any credit because they said he was running, he was trying to survive. And Jermaine Ortiz has not had a big fight since. Dmitry Bivol, the way he fights and the way he's been fighting against Artur Beterbiev, he has been running and he's been trying to survive. The way that he has fought Beterbiev on 2 occasions now, he is on the back foot, he is trying to survive, he's moving constantly all around the ring, and a couple times here or there in a round, he'll have a little flurry and go on the back foot again and move away from the danger. And I just think that, he's just fighting to survive. And it's basically like, this is why I think that Beterbiev should retire. Because you basically have to get the knockout to win that fight. And that's very hard to knock someone out who's on the back foot constantly and just fighting to survive. 1 second you guys don't like that style. Next second you guys do like that style. It just doesn't make much sense to me. And another big argument that I really want to address on this video is CompuBox. A lot of people are looking at the punch stats. Now, I just want to, get this myth out there from the start. I think that a lot of people think that CompuBox, because of the name, it's computer generated, and it's basically, it's black and white. So you look at numbers and you think those numbers are accurate. What CompuBox is, it is 2 people sitting ringside. Okay, they are pressing a button of what they think lands. So you've got one person looking at Dmitry Bivol. He's looking at his jabs and he's looking at his power punches. You've got another person looking at Artur Beterbiev, looking at Beterbiev's jabs and power punches. They are pressing a button every single time that they think a punch lands and what type of punch it was. And then at the end of the fight, obviously the computer is generating that. It's human error. You could have 10 experts doing that. You could pick 10 boxing experts that you like. You can pick Teddy Atlas and Lennox Lewis and Sugar Ray Leonard and Andre Ward, whoever you think that is a boxing expert, your favorite. You can pick 10 experts, and at the end of a fight, every single person that is doing CompuBox, they will have a different number. That is their perception of what they think is landing. I am watching a fight between Artur Beterbiev and Bivol, and I am looking at Bivol throw punches constantly, and Beterbiev is catching them on the arms and catching them on the gloves. And I'm hearing the commentators for DAZN saying, amazing work, Bivol, what great work from Bivol. And, in my head, I'm probably saying to myself, those people doing the CompuBox, they're probably counting those as landed punches and they're not even landing. It's the same way with the judges. The judges hear things before the fight. The judges hear the fact that, Bivol, quote unquote, got robbed in the first fight. Bivol's the better boxer. They're hearing these things. So, naturally they're going to be completely biased. And I just think that's the way the boxing game is. I think, Bivol is the younger fighter. He's got a lot of credit off the Canelo victory, which is actually quite funny because before that victory, no one even knew who Bivol was. I knew who he was, but no one knew who he was. No one was interested in his career. He fought Canelo Alvarez, and now everyone's obsessed with his style, the Soviet style, which, surprise, surprise, he didn't use in 2 fights against Artur Beterbiev. He was just on the back foot and surviving. That is not Soviet style. And, all of a sudden, there's potential fights with Canelo Alvarez, with David Benavidez. And Beterbiev is the 40-year-old. He's a 40-year-old that's probably got 1 or 2 fights left in him. It was on DAZN. Beterbiev is a top-ranked fighter. I think he was the only top-ranked fighter that was on the card. Bob Arum was not in attendance. Bivol is with DAZN. He's with Matchroom. He's with Eddie Hearn, who's the, big loudmouth promoter. So I think, looking into these things, it's pretty obvious that they really just wanted to give Dmitry Bivol the decision. And like I said, this is not me having sour grapes, or this is not me, still, annoyed about the fight. I'm actually quite happy because, again, I thought Beterbiev was outstanding. I thought his performance was exceptional, and I believe that he won the fight. So again, this is not sour grapes, but in my opinion, I think it was massively biased. And what should Artur Beterbiev do next? In my opinion, I think you should just sail off into the sunset. You've had an unbelievable career. You are 40 years of age. You beat Dmitry Bivol the first time. The majority of people think that you beat him the second time as well, or at the very least got a draw. So just leave this boxing game. This boxing game is corrupt. This boxing game, it's got a lot of bias. It's got a lot of agendas. And really, let's be real. It suits, 90% of the time, it suits the A-side fighter. It suits the younger fighter, the guy that's got more to give to the boxing world. And I think that's why Dmitry Bivol got the decision. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Those are my 2 cents. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video.